So in more gaming news, we are doing this story just to make Tristan happy. This is a Tristan-centric story. I included this just to make you happy, and it's frustrating because you probably are not as happy as I'm thinking you are right now because I just remember that you don't have a PS4. So I'm actually really sorry. For everyone listening to it on the podcast,
Why are you touching that?
you're wailing so loud the mic and your cat are terrified and confused. All right, so for you guys are wondering what this is about, Gintama, it's called Gintama Ranbu? Yeah, Gintama Ranbu. It's a video game based on Gintama, and it's actually being released in Southeast Asia, and it's slated for January 18th. As of when we're doing this podcast, it's actually out already, so you can buy the game, Tristan. You can bring it over to one of our friends' houses and play it there. Like me, actually, if you want to go get it. So, being honest with you. And I'll actually include a link to it below if any of you guys want to buy it. It is being released in Southeast Asia, but it is being released in English, just like that Kamen Rider Climax Fighters game for the PS4 that we mentioned a while ago on Keikaku Corner. So, Tristan, I know you can't play it, so I'm sorry. All right, I'm actually really sorry. But everyone, and Tristan included, despite your rage, are you not happy to see Gintama getting some kind of, I guess, English recognition, even though it's technically not in the West? But isn't it nice to actually have Gintama matter more? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, yeah.
Because it's an amazing series, and, any support that it gets is great. I mean, even the band that does the opening video for the game was actually pretty psyched about it.
And that's well.
And
that's the thing too. I mean, obviously, not every band has to be a fan of the anime that they're a part of. But
but it was just
of course,
nice to see.
I mean, I would imagine that they would be. I would imagine that a band who's getting their music featured in anime wouldn't despise it completely. That's just me thinking though. Like, you wouldn't want your brand to be associated with something that's terrible, even if the payout is good. So I imagine they'd be fans of Gintama. I mean, Gintama's been around for a long time now. Some of us, I think, forget about it, like how long it's been around due to the fact that it hasn't had a big presence in the West. But it's been around for 10 years now, right? Am I wrong? Longer? A little longer, I thought.
Possibly, yeah. I'm not exactly sure.
Would you be able to look that up while we're talking about it? But because I mean, we talked about the live action movie getting released in the West with subtitles a few episodes ago on the show, and I just want to bring this one up because, again, maybe there's some people that don't know about the fact that the PS4's region is the same region as Southeast Asia, so you can actually get games from there and you can import them and you can play them on your normal I said PS3, didn't I? PS4's region code. So the same region code, same thing with PS3 as well. So it's actually really cool that you can get this game, and even though it's not in English, obviously, in terms of the voiceover work, still English subtitles for the entire game. So, I mean, that's actually pretty cool for, some of you English, either US bound or just general, English Gintama fans out there. So, and also you can find the trailer streamed on YouTube by Bandai Namco. So I do wonder if maybe in the future Bandai Namco is, I don't know, I have to admit, I don't know if they're looking at the South Asian release of it, and they're thinking, oh, the US will purchase it. Like, I don't know what they're thinking exactly, but I do wonder what's going to happen when they look at the numbers for either this game, and I think for something like Climax Fighters. I wonder what's going to happen when they see those numbers, and they're going to see that there's a lot of importation. Or importing, rather. Importation. Right. Is that a word? It fucking is now. But a lot of importing of some of these titles from, the US of A. I wonder what they're going to think, and I wonder if that's going to change their strategy, maybe with future Gintama games, or even with future Kamen Rider games. Now, we were able to look up how long Gintama's been around, because I'm actually super curious about this, because I remember being, in high school, before I even met you guys in high school, and I remember seeing Viz was releasing it. But again, maybe my time is off. So, when did it start?
Yeah, I mean, the original run started around for Weekly Shonen and Shonen Jump was in December in 2003.
I was right. So that means that, and of course, the US release, it started, what, in 06? Because, again, because I feel like I was in middle school and I didn't really get Gintama. I didn't like get it as in buy it or understand like its appeal.
Right.
But actually, no. To be fair, I had 2 volumes of Gintama. But I remember being really young, like in my manga anime love of having, because I still have the 2 volumes of Gintama, and they were fun. But there was just something about it that I never really purchased more. Or I mean, I wasn't buying manga for myself at the time, but I never really, went further with the series because at that time. I mean, jumping back to then, if we have to really jump back, just a little bit, just a little jump. Jump, shonen. But I was trying to pressure my mom to get me more Dragon Ball Z manga. Because Viz was releasing those. That got so popular, I don't know if you remember this, but they were releasing them twice a month at one point. Because I don't know if it was Viz just trying to get it out because they were like, well, we're near the end, so screw it, or if it was selling that much, they were like, we can release 2 volumes of these a month and people will buy them. And guess what? I did, or my mom did. Also getting shows like Shaman King and Yu Yu Hakusho. Basically, I think for me when I was a kid, and I know you didn't really get manga, but I mean like at least you can see some of our friends, other friends that aren't really part of those guys play or those guys on the radio and stuff like that who got manga. It was really what was on television that kind of shifted the manga purchases. I would argue, like Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin. I know you have Rurouni Kenshin. Dragon Ball Z. I'm thinking of some other ones. Just some even stuff like Zatch Bell, Bobobo. Right. I still have the first ever. It was a random one-off volume that they released in the U.S. It was before they started numbering them, and I loved that Bobobo volume so much. It had a Yugi cameo. Yami popped out of Bobobo's hair. Yeah, and it was beautiful, and it was the same.
And, Slifer the Sky
Here's what's funny.
Too.
No. The artwork for Yugi, I think it was Yami. The artwork for Yami was provided by the original author. But Slifer wasn't. So then it literally had one of the characters with the pink hair. She commented saying, "Wow, can the author of Bobobo really not draw Slifer?" It was like, wow, they just did that. But, a lot of, I think, my earlier manga choices are based off what was on TV, but sadly, Gintama never got that TV presence, maybe because it was too heavy on Japanese, tropes and stuff or anime that never really came over to the West, or, thinking about when the anime started coming out, which I think was also 06, perhaps, or 04, I don't even know, to be fair. That I definitely don't know.
The anime was like...
I think it was this weird transition to where maybe some. I'm not saying that. It's not saying a Toonami wouldn't pick it up, but I feel like Toonami was. It was still in that hyper action phase in some ways. So Gintama.
And Gintama kind of switches. It's primarily a comedy, but it does have a lot of fights and it has its shonen aspects.
So I feel I feel like Gintama could, and it sucks too because I feel like a Gintama could definitely work on Toonami today, but
definitely
they wouldn't be able to start from the first episode because it's a weekly Toonami that would be going on for far too long. They'd have but talking about the game itself, it seems like this is the first Gintama game released in English. No, but seriously, in English in any way. I don't think I'm wrong in saying that, right? Mm-hmm. I think the only thing that I can think of that's close enough to Gintama being in English, there was a Jump Ultra Stars or Superstars or something released on the PS4. That's the closest, I think, because the second closest is Shonen Jump. I forgot what stars it was, but Jump on the DS getting an English patch translation by the fan community. That's it. Other than that, those 2 instances, I'm pretty sure Gintama, in terms of games, have kind of just been stuck in Japan until this one, which I know it's still in, it's not coming out in the US, but having subtitles matters a lot. It really does, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Especially with, I imagine there really wouldn't be a Gintama fighting-only game. Because if it was, because I don't think this game is a fighting exclusive, right? I assume this game is... Yeah, because because the thing is, in my opinion, if it was just a fighting game, I would still be saying, hey, maybe people should get it. Same thing with the Kamen Rider Climax Fighters. It is a fighting game like at its core. So you don't technically need the subtitles. But again, it's nice, right? So in this case, it's not actually a fighting game at its core. So being able to have it come out. Now, what's really funny is it's also coming out for the Vita. So for any of you guys that have the Vita, but I don't know about the Vita's region locking, so I don't know if there's, like, if the Vita doesn't match up to its US region code. That I have no idea. I just know that the PS4 does match up. So you can get it for the PS4 and not have to have a, you know, an Southeast Asian PS4 to play it. But, so are you hyped? I know I de-hyped you by reminding you don't have a PS4, but, like...
Yeah, no, I mean, watching the trailers too really hyped me because it looks beautiful, and it's Dynasty Warriors style. So like multiple enemies, and you just get to go all out with, you know, like your favorite characters from the series and just beat the hell out of everything in your path.
So yeah, it sounds really cool. Obviously, there's some DLC that will be included that I assume will be locked out for any of us in the U.S. But I know that when it came to Japanese DLC, when it came to Kamen Rider games, I don't know if you were able to... Like, I'm pretty sure you could have made an account, a Japanese account, and just gotten the DLC that way. But, so I don't know if you have to make, like, a South... I don't know how that works. Because I'm pretty sure you can make one in the U.S., like a Japanese account. I don't know if it has to be on a Japanese PS4. That I don't know about. But, to try to get that DLC. So, sadly, yes, the DLC may be locked out to some of us. But getting the game itself and just the core game... import prices might be an issue, too, of course. Let's be real here, right? You know, import prices might be an issue. But, again, you know, just to be able to get this game at all in English, even if it's going to be, like, $70 or so... I would do it if I was a bigger fan of Gintama. I'm not, but I mean, you know, you and I can go halvesies and you just come over and play it. So, whatever you want to do, Tristan. We'll talk about this off camera.